Hello everybody. Those people who know me, they know that I am an avid cigar smoker. Not too crazy, but I love my sticks, especially good ones. And my favorite stick is called Cuaba, C-U-A-B-A. I actually wrote a piece of music about this cigar. It's so good. I have to be careful how I speak about this thing. It is so good. And the first time I took a couple of drags off this thing, I went into my music room and wrote a song. This cigar is that good. The problem is, the cigar is only produced in Cuba. And so it is very, very difficult for me to get anymore. And even when I was traveling internationally, I could find them sometimes in Canada. I think I found them in Italy and in Switzerland. But it's a pretty rare stick, and it's very, very good. But in America, it's more rare than that, because we have this real big problem with this little island that's just 100 miles off our coast. And that's really quite a shame, because over the years I have watched my stepmother, who is Cuban, her name would have been Dolores Rodriguez, and struggle to visit her family, especially as people got older and were starting to die, and to negotiate through all the restrictions in travel that have been placed upon Americans in traveling to the island of Cuba. I like to say Cuba, but I'll say Cuba since most people pronounce it in that fashion. Now, we're going to talk about the Havana International Jazz Festival. Few of us are going to get to go there anytime soon because of the very situation I am discussing in relation to my prized cigar. There is wonderful music that comes from the island of Cuba, and I love it. I always program Afro-Cuban music on every concert I do. I love the dance, I love the feeling, I love the whole thing. Great music and great food from the island of Cuba. But I've never been there. And I put it on my bucket list. Most certainly hope to go. And I hope that things change to the point that we all can go there very, very soon. Let me tell you about this festival. Somewhere around 1978, a group of Cuban musicians decided to put together a nice concert in the Cultural Center Plaza, which is an open-air amphitheater in the heart of Havana. So they put on this concert, and it was a great success. And so the next year, they invited some international personalities. I think like Dizzy Gillespie has been there, and people like that, and Roy Hargrove, and you know, some real good American luminaries have been there. And the festival had grew and grew and grew. And they do these jam sessions. And one of the jam sessions was taking place in a hotel that had a certain little room called the Jazz Cafe, where people would actually have the jam session. So the Jazz Cafe became a part of this festival. And it's kind of like a meeting place for people after the gig, and sometimes concerts are there, but mostly it's where people get together and jam after a day of concerts. That's just something musicians like to do. They like to get together and exchange ideas and have that free jam and explore and challenge each other and force the music to grow. So that was the place that the Jazz Cafe had, and all of that. It continued to grow and grow and grow, and finally by mid-80s, Chucho Valdés, the great Cuban pianist and the president of the conservatory in Cuba, took over as the promoter, a presenter, or an organizer of this festival. And at that point, it went from being the Cuban Jazz Festival to being the Havana International Jazz Festival. And the festival started to grow until finally every concert venue in Havana, every single one, inside and outside, parks, amphitheaters, concert halls, hotel, meeting rooms, every available space is used for live jazz during this festival. That is how much stuff is going on during this festival. They just take over everything because Chucho Valdés made it happen. And he brings in people like Dee Bridgewater, Joe Lovano, Danilo Perez, who actually has a home in Washington, D.C. And one of the things we don't like to talk about is how many Cuban musicians who are supposed to be locked up behind the communist curtain actually have homes in the United States and in Europe and everywhere else. It sounds pretty free to me. But Gonzalo Rubalcaba, the great pianist, he travels back and forth, and he's been a great artist there. La Buena Social Club has been there many, many times, and of course you see them all around the world. Probably not so much in America, all around the world except for America. But once La Buena members got older and started to pass away, a younger group of La Buenas organized themselves, and they are performing there. So at this festival, you're going to hear a lot of artists playing salsa and even merengue and rumba and what we call Afro-Cuban jazz and straight ahead jazz and Caribbean, because they pull artists from the entire region that we rarely get in this country. So the reason this is such a great festival for us Americans is almost everything that's going to be featured there are acts that we have never seen. And it is music that we rarely, if ever, hear. And you might have 100 artists with all Spanish surnames that most of us have never heard of. And you go and you hear the music, and then you realize what you really have been missing, what has been restricted from you. So this is a very, very large festival. It is a very robust festival, and it has grown to the point that it has taken over all of downtown Havana. So you may be wondering, well, if that's true, how is it growing? Because we can't go there. Well, you have to understand that there's a whole lot to planet Earth besides the US of A. You got the Canadians, you got the Mexicans, you got Central America and South America, they're all Americans. North America, Central America, South America, they're all Americans. And you have the Africans and the Asians and the Europeans, and you have a whole world of people that travel every year to Cuba to participate in this festival. Just not us. So the festival is growing without us. And it will continue to grow without us, and we're the ones who are losing. So once again, Danilo Perez, David Sanchez, even people we don't see enough around here, Betty LaVerton, people like that. You know, the great Christian Scott, and people like that. Roy Hargrove, when he walked the earth. Those are the people that come. For they come from every country as artists. They come from every country as audience. They descend on this little island and they have a great time. The Jazz Cafe is a place in one of the hotels where people jam and have a good time. But to be very honest, this festival takes over every venue in downtown Havana. And it's called the Havana International Festival of Jazz, or the Havana Jazz Festival, or the Havana International Jazz Festival, or the Cuban Jazz Festival. Or call it what you want to call it. Just know it's international and it's in Havana, Cuba. Okay, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope I see you there soon.